Alright guys, new game, Prison Architect. Been playing this game for a while now. It's pretty fun. Alpha 11 is the latest version that's put out. Obviously it's still in alpha, but they cleaned up a few things, and it's really a lot of fun. At least it is for me to play. I've been playing a lot lately, so this episode just gonna be fast. I'm just gonna go through the game itself, and then we'll get down to building this prison. First off, map size. This is a medium-sized map. I just find the small map is too small, and even though we're not going to build a massive prison, the small map just doesn't give you enough space. So I like having the space, and the large map is just too large. Eventually, I could see building a large map. And you can always buy land as the game goes on as well. So this is it. I'll go through what all this stuff means real quick. These guys here, these are my workers, and these guys, and this truck here is going to be dropping off some supplies to help build. Everything gets dropped off here in the delivery section, and then any garbage that gets generated ends up here. The trucks will come by and pick up the garbage. So I'll go through each of these things right here. So the clock up here is obviously the clock, and right now, according to our schedule, if we had prisoners, they'd be showering. So that's what that means. You can pause, which I have here. The first thing I do is pause, and I draw out the prison, and no need to do that because the clock is ticking. You can hit play, you can hit fast forward. I'll show you. This truck here is going to be dropping these guys. See? And I'll pause it. And you can hit fast forward, which play most of the game in fast forward. Let's see. Reports. This is my staff. Here's my workers. You hover over each one, and it'll take you to the worker. Why it says fire? Oh, because if I was going to fire these guys, then I could click on one of them and get rid of them. I'm not going to do that. 8 is a perfect amount. I've never had to hire more workers or fire workers. We don't have any guards yet because we don't have any prisoners yet. We don't have any staff or administrators yet. They'll come soon. Prisoners. You can choose if you want high risk, normal risk, or low risk prisoners. Just because this is the first prison I am going to do, at least record. We're going to do a low risk prison. We're going to set a goal for 50 prisoners, and then eventually I would love to be able to do all 3 and build a prison that keeps them all segregated, because it gets pretty crazy. The high risk, normal risk prisoners are always trying to steal stuff and kill each other, fight and escape, and it's a lot of fun. And the low risk prisoners do that as well. They just don't do it as often. So it'll be a good start. Once the prison is maxed out, I'll turn this off, and then as prisoners get released and cells open up or room opens up, then I will I'll keep that. I'll open it up again. We'll get more prisoners. Jobs right now, basically all I have is the workers. So I bought a couple of things here. I noticed they don't put spaces between the words. I don't know what that's about. I'm sure that's going to change. I hope it's going to change. It's kind of weird, but anytime that you request something, it'll be here. We need them to build a foundation. It'll tell you how many of your 8 are working on the foundation. Once you get a psychologist, they'll be able to tell you that the prisoners need better hygiene, they need more food to eat, they need more sleep. That stuff's pretty important if you want to keep the riots down. In the meantime, because it takes a little while before you're actually at the point where you can hire a psychologist. In the meantime, you got to try and read the prisoners. They'll tell you what they're not happy about on an individual basis. He or she, whatever the hell that is going to tell you as a group the prisoners need more hygiene, stuff like that. This is going to be the schedule. Once we hire a warden, you can tell them when to sleep, when to eat, when to shower, when to use the yard, when they have free time, stuff like that. Grants, there's 4 different grants. I took the basic detention center grant already. the administration center grant already, and the cell block. Eventually we'll have a cell block. So the reason I did this is this one here gives you $20,000 up front and $10,000 once you actually build the cell block, which we will do eventually, just not today and not for a little bit. Build 2 offices, which we have to build at least 1 for the warden. We'll go through that later. And a basic detention center. Basically, you have to satisfy all of this, and then your grant is good. But you do get the money in advance, which is nice, because now I have an $80,000 bank balance. You start off with 10, you get 70 through grants. I'm not going to do the health and well-being grant here right now until later on in the game. Once we hire an accountant, they'll tell you what your prison's worth, if you're making money or losing money. That's what accountants do. And same thing with the evaluation. You get penalized if prisoners escape and all that, so it'll tell you your prison is worth this much money, and whether or not it's good or bad. I don't really know what effect that has on the game or not. So yeah, those are all the reports. Bang up. Basically, if you hit this, it's going to send all prisoners to their cells. Willing prisoners. Most of the time, they don't go to the cells because prisoners really aren't willing to do anything when you give them the choice. Lockdown obviously is going to close every door in the prison, even if you have the doors held open. You could set a door to be closed all the time, open all the time, or normal operation, which means a guard has to open it for somebody when they want to get through. Lockdown locks all those doors no matter what you have it set at. And any one of these usually makes the prisoners pretty angry. So unless something's happening that you want to try and stop, you really don't even want to use these. I've used these in riots, when there's riots, and I don't really see that it helps very much. Planning is kind of where I am now, where you take this tool here and you draw out, what you want to do with your prison, and it helps to know how big things are, so you know what size to make these rooms. It's a lot of trial and error, but I'll explain my thought process behind this. Clone basically is, once you build your prison block, your cells, your cells are like this, you have a whole cell block like this. Well, if you want to build another cell block, instead of having to go through it all again, you just copy this cell block and paste it wherever you want to go if you can afford it. So that is the clone button. Emergencies: if there's a fire, call the fire department. If there's a riot, call the riot police and paramedics. That's basically it. You have, obviously, you can call 2 fire trucks, 3 riot squads, and 2 ambulances. Basically, when you have a riot, you're going to need these, unless you have, you're further along in the game and you have sprinklers set up. That'll take care of your fires. If you have enough guards, you might need 1 riot squad to come if there's a riot, and paramedics usually can be handled by doctors if you have them on staff. So that's emergencies. Deployment comes later in the game with prison labor. If you want to put your prisoners to work, which you really need to do in order to keep making money and clean and help cook and all that, you need that. So you need certain people to unlock that. Utilities, I already purchased the power station and water pump. Obviously, they're going to provide power and water to the prison. Capacitors are necessary because you will expand the amount of power that this puts out. By using them, you have to run an electric cable through the prison, and the power switch. I've never used the power switch. I'm not really going to use it much. I don't really see a need for it. Same thing with this pipe valve. You basically use it to turn power off certain parts of the prison, or turn water off certain parts of the prison. So I guess if there's a riot or whatever and they're flooding the cells, you can put a pipe valve there and turn the water off so they can't flood the cells, I guess. Like I said, I haven't really had a chance to use it. Large pipe, obviously you run the large pipe out from the water pump throughout the prison, and basically the way I do it is I just keep a main a main going through the center, top, east and west, north and south, and then I run these small pipes off of that. It seems to work fine for me. Staff. These guys are obviously here already. I have 8 guards, very important. You don't need them until you get closer to the time that we're getting prisoners, because they do cost money. It's $100 a day and $500 to hire them outright. So doctors come later on in the game. Anybody who comes near them will be healed. People, prisoners, guards, whoever. Cooks, very important, almost as important as the guards. Cooks keep the prisoners happy by feeding them, so I usually hire a couple right off the bat. Gardener, obvious. Janitor, obviously, keeps the prison clean. You can use prison labor to clean as well, but usually it's good to have one of these guys around because they clean 24/7. Warden is the guy you need to unlock pretty much everything. You got to hire him right away. You got to get him in office. Chief, another guy, very important. Gives you access to your closed circuit TVs as you go, and your riot guards, and I believe prison labor or deployment. Deployment, which gives you the ability to deploy your prison labor and assign guards posts. Foreman, he controls your janitors and your gardeners, and I believe he's the guy who you need for prison labor, to be able to hire prisoners and use prisoners to work in the prison. Psychologist is obvious. Accountant, obvious. Lawyer really isn't in the game yet. He's here, but he really doesn't do anything. I guess in the next upcoming versions they're gonna give him stuff to do. I haven't really used him yet. He might do stuff. I haven't used him yet, but it says that it says when later on in the game I'll show you, it says that he's not really developed yet. And this is all stuff that you could use in the prison. Really, these things, the workshop, those are important because they make money for you. The visitor table, you want to keep them happy. You need this stuff, the office desk, to build an office. You need this stuff to cook. I mean, this stuff's pretty self-explanatory. Rooms, again, pretty self-explanatory. Cells are important, holding cells. You need a solitary room. Otherwise, I'm sure it's a bug, but if they're in solitary and you don't have any solitary pens, I've seen them throw them prisoners out in the street here, while instead of being in solitary. I don't know what that's about, but let's see. Turn my phone off because that's very annoying. And a yard. All this stuff is basically just to keep them happy. You got to give them time to exercise. They want recreation. Yeah, I haven't really done the execution thing yet. That'll be fun once I start. And that's it. Materials, building brick and concrete, fence, and you can have different types of floors if you want. Depending on the floor, you can be slow. They walk slow, they walk fast. You really want to try and keep fast stuff in the yard because they run. So, and then foundation is pretty obvious. You need to build the foundation first, obviously. And that's it. So my prison layout basically goes like this. And then I'm going to stop here because I know I've been doing a lot of talky, but it's the first one and I just want to go over the game, and then next episode we'll actually build some stuff. So here is right here, these four rooms right here will be offices, and this is the main entrance to the prison. Just to try and keep the escapes down, I put a hallway here. This is going to be the holding cell. Let's see if I can do this. Holding cell. It's not going to let me do it until the foundation is in, but it'll be easier then to see what I'm talking about. But I wanted to just keep escapes down. So this will be a kitchen. This will be the canteen. This will be a common hallway here that will attach to the cell block eventually. So we're going to have a utility room, showers, holding cell, cleaning cupboard, the prisoners are going to be using this, so I didn't want to put a door in this is a hallway here. I didn't want to put a door here because I want to keep the prisoners out of this hallway as much as possible. This is a storage room, and this is going to be the visitation room. This will be the only time prisoners will go in this hallway when they have visitors. So I know that's a lot of talking and a lot of instructions, quick instructions, but that is the game in a nutshell. Everything that you need to do to start your prison. So next episode, that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll build the foundation, we'll get some walls up, we'll get some stuff in here, and then in a couple days, I believe it's a couple days, well, we're going to try and do it within 24 hours before the first prisoners come. It's a big task, it's a lot to try and get done. You'll see as things go. So that's it. So yeah, follow along if you guys want to see. It's a pretty cool game. It moves pretty fast once you get everything built. You know, we'll do some fast forwarding while we're waiting for more money. You get money every 24 hours based on what you do, so you don't get much. I'll explain that as we go, though. All right, guys. So yeah, stay tuned. There'll be another episode coming up right after this. We're gonna keep them coming. Our goal is to hit 50 prisoners and try and keep the escapes and riots down to a minimum, hopefully. Take care.